Hi, it's me, Jordan, and today we're going to talk about something that I personally have struggled with in the past, and I think it's something that could help people, which is imposter syndrome. So what is imposter syndrome? This is actually a term that doesn't just apply to game development. While I'm talking about it in the context of game development, this is a term that's widely used, and let me pull up the definition real quick. So the definition is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skill. So this is actually something I've personally struggled with in the past. I still do on occasion. It's very difficult to believe that you are a professional, especially when it comes to a field as competitive as game design. Now, in my time doing this, I've noticed that it most often occurs in technical work, especially programmers. It does happen to other places. It happens to marketing. It happens to artists. However, I've mostly experienced it through technical work, and I think that's because the other work is a lot less isolated. Artists have a lot easier time getting feedback on the quality of their work. With the prevalence of social media, it can be very easy to gain a following and be recognized by other people, which is a huge help to fighting off imposter syndrome. However, with technical work, a lot of times our work goes unseen. Now, this doesn't mean that if you're an artist or in marketing and you're suffering from imposter syndrome, that you're weird or that you're bad for having that. That's totally normal. It just happens. I'm talking from a point of view of someone that's experienced it from the technical side. That's where I've seen it the most. However, these steps hopefully should be helpful to anyone no matter what field. Now, I want this video to focus more on what you can do about imposter syndrome rather than recognizing it. I may do a video more in depth on that, but for now I'll drop a useful article I found in the link. The link's in the description. So if you have some questions about that, I recommend you go read that article, and we're going to move on to what you can do about it. So I mentioned isolation, and specifically that's actually the first step, is analyze to see if you're isolating yourself. If you're a programmer, start joining some communities, start YouTubing. That was massive for me. Start streaming. Find a way to get your work out there. No matter what field you're in, there's always going to be at least some other people. It may not be as easy to gain some following, any kind of following. However, it's worthwhile to try to put yourself out there. Another advantage of putting yourself out there or joining some Discord communities for devs and that kind of thing is along the way you'll find people that need help, and you'll find ways you can help them. There'll be people asking questions that you will know, and that's actually a massive boost. You'll be able to start seeing where you compare, what kind of people you can help, and who can help you, which is also great. Find somebody who's better than you and study them, follow them, listen to what they're saying so that you can become better. That's a big reason why I still listen to GDC talks while I'm working, is that's where I can find a massive amounts of new information that I can help share with other people or that can help make me better, which is a big step to fighting off this kind of imposter syndrome issues. Another thing I found extremely useful in my experience is participating in game jams or other similar things, because then you can start getting feedback on some stuff you're doing, and it's fun. I personally love doing the game jams, and through that I've learned different techniques. People have been very nice, even people that are pointing out serious flaws with my game. It's nice because you have that barrier of, well, I only worked on it for 24 hours, 48 hours, so it's not my best work, but even in that, you're getting this feedback to help grow with these small projects that you don't get super attached to, and it's less personal. You take it, I mean, it's still personal, but you take it less personally, if you get what I'm saying. Another reason I like game jams is through game jams you can finish projects. You finish these small little things, and you have something you can show that I did this. And that's a big problem, especially early in game development, is you haven't really produced anything. You've never finished anything. So how are you going to be able to be recognized as a professional? And a big part of recognizing your personal skill, your aptitude, is finishing things. Even small, tiny little things. I also personally recommend that you examine yourself and you think, Am I attributing this to luck? I recommend, if you think that anything that you've achieved or anything that you've gotten is by luck, think about it. That's not true. You put yourself in a position where you were able to get these opportunities. Even if maybe you weren't the best person suited, you were ready. You did that, not anything else. So recognize that anything that you have achieved or anything you have done is because you worked for that. And that you prepared yourself for that. Even if you don't feel you did enough preparation, it was enough to get that. You didn't get that by chance. It was you. Now, I admit that that step is a lot more difficult than these other ones. It may feel like you don't have control of that, which is, it's a valid observation. However, a lot of this comes down to shifting your view. It really comes down to being confident. That's what this all boils down to, is an issue of confidence. Another technique I've found useful is list the things you don't know yet. This actually involves two big things. The first of which is change the way you talk about things. This actually shows a lot of similarities with my last video for devs. Not my Steampunk Abyss devlog, but the one before that, where I talked about how to learn what you need to know. So changing I don't know this to I don't know this yet is massively more motivating and helps fight off this feeling that you're not good enough. So as I was editing this video, I figured out that the last few scenes that I had shot, the audio had gotten corrupted and it was covered by this crackling noise. I'll play a short clip real quick. Take 13. And it was unusable. So there's no overhead light in the place I filmed these, and I moved it downstairs, so the audio is probably going to be a bit echoier just because this room doesn't work as well for sound, and I apologize. Okay, so once you've listed things you don't know yet, you need to start working on them. I still am doing this. There's a lot of things involved in game development, and it takes a long time to even get the basic proficiencies for a lot of these. I'm still working on color theory, on basic music theory. There's all these things that I still don't have perfected. There's so many things, and this is a continual process. All of us are in the dev community are constantly learning. There's changes in technology that we have to keep up with. So once you've written down a list of things you don't know, you can start learning, and that once you're growing and learning, it helps you get over this imposter syndrome issue. So another reason why I recommend joining these communities is you get to see that other devs all around you are also learning new things all the time. There's discussions going on, there's disagreements. You learn that there's a lot more nuance to game design, to tech, to art than you knew before, and it helps you fight this idea that you're the only one out there that doesn't know this stuff or is still learning this stuff. Another good thing about joining these communities is you start to receive these compliments. You start seeing what you do well, and you need to learn to take these. It can be very hard to take these compliments, as it's very easy to just say, I was just following a tutorial, or I was just basing it off something I used to love as a kid, But you need to stop doing that. Another thing you need to understand is this isn't a one-time thing and you're done. A lot of us end up fighting this on a regular basis. There's still days I wake up where I feel like I can't do it. But what you need to learn is how to deal with this healthily, how to cope. These steps are things you can apply, and there's a lot more. There's a ton of literature out there and other YouTube videos that can help you learn to deal with that. And that's a big difference between those that leave and those that stay in game development, is those that have learned how to deal with this and those that haven't. A big part of it is just realizing that being a game developer means doing what you love, and that's worth dealing with this. And once you realize that, coping with this becomes a lot easier. That's all I got for this week. There's definitely a lot more that could be said on this, so if you have something that I missed, go ahead and drop it in a comment below. And if you want to hear more about these kinds of subjects, if you found any of this helpful, please subscribe and I'll continue making these. I do 3 of these a month, and I do my one on the game I'm working on, Steampunk Abyss. So I hope to see you guys more in the future, and have a great day.